think it was grade 10. I always was interested in my dad's a photographer. Well, it's kind of sort of his hobby, but I was always interested in them. And then he had this little Nikon Coolpix, and they're the ones that, you know, the spin.
Yeah, that's exactly the one.
So I would steal it and bring it to school and take photos of my friends because I had LiveJournal back then. And that's when it was like, you know, it was like you post all these photos from the internet, but when I was like, I can post my own photos. So I bring it to school, come home, upload the photos, and put it back. Always, I did that for like months. And then finally my dad was like, "You taking my camera?" I was like, "Yeah, kind of." So then he was like, "Just have it." So, because he had gotten a DSLR at that point, and so then that sort of, yeah, it just became a thing. And I think I sort of became known in my high school because it was also just a really small school. Just the girl with the camera, because I just take photos of everything.
So you were kind of like proto-blogging? Well, like as much as LiveJournal is blogging.
Yes,
like...
yeah. But it was very like, you know, back then it was all like emo song lyrics.
Very intro, like very all about yourself.
Yes, very much. But it was interesting because it wasn't, I sort of at first it was like photos of just my friends and stuff, but I started to get into like being like more, I guess, more artistic, more creative, and like, yeah, more personal. And I guess it was sort of like, I don't know, a way of expressing myself.
Yeah,
you know, but at that age it is, right? So, yeah. Yeah.
But you took it further and you went to school for it, like OKAD.
Yes, I went to OKAD for it. Yeah, kind of, I guess I realized, I always knew I wanted to do something in the arts, and when I was younger I used to draw a lot as well. But now I realize I'm very bad at drawing and painting. Yeah, so I kind of, I don't know, it was nice. My parents were very helpful and like influential, I guess, in a sense, and were like, "Oh yeah, go to school for it," you know. So yeah, I looked into, I guess I applied to every school that was somewhat close. I applied to York, Ryerson, Guelph, Humber, I think, and OKAD. I always knew OKAD was my first choice. I applied to them all. I got accepted to them all, but actually OKAD was the first one to call me. They called me like 5 days later, which is weird because like I got a phone call.
That's
usually they mail you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
so
really wanted you.
maybe, yeah, maybe. I hope so. And then I ended up going there because that's what. That was really what I wanted to go to school for. It was funny because my dad was pushing for OKAD. My mom, I think because my mom went to Ryerson.
Oh, okay.
She was pushing for Ryerson, so then I went to OKAD because I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do photography, but I also wanted to. I kind of wanted to do like different kinds of art too. I was really into sculpture as well, and I thought I was going to be good at drawing and painting, and I was not. But I wanted to do a little bit of.
I wanted to go to ACAD, the Alberta School of Art and Design, but my family really deterred me through that.
Really?
Which was so crazy to me because my aunt went through ACAD for painting, and she was like an assistant professor there for a while.
Oh, that's crazy.
So they were kind of like, "You don't want that artist lifestyle, you."
Yeah, I feel like that's changed though now. Like, artists, like, I don't know, maybe living in the city, I just feel like everybody I know, even if maybe their permanent or their day-to-day job isn't necessarily something in the arts, they're always doing something outside of that that's artistic in some sort of way, and like, that's what they want their life to be.
That's probably the difference between Alberta or like Calgary and Toronto.
Yes. Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know. I did end up going to a vocational school. I did take photography, but I went to a vocational school, which was kind of like the middle ground.
Yes. Well, I was about to say that probably was like for your family, like a happy medium. She can do what she wants to do, but she can also do what we want her to do.
Yeah. That's artsy-fartsy stuff.
Yeah, because OKAD is just, you don't learn, it's interesting because there you don't learn anything about business, nothing. So it's kind of a funny thing because they literally just teach you how to be an artist and how to get your stuff into galleries and like make work for galleries, you know? Like
I had the opposite experience. Ours was all like, headshots are going to be your bread and butter, so it was like, get used to dealing with realty people and people who need headshots, and they did, it was very much more businessy end of it. Like, not so much how to get your stuff into galleries, but like how to get your stuff onto a billboard. Or,
or like in magazines or like being paid. But in ways I wish I kind of learned that because we didn't have that. It was only until I did my internship at Toronto Life that it was like, this is how you make money off of, and like, that's when it started to become like, oh, I can actually make money from this. I think I always knew because I know tons of people always were like, oh, so like, what do you do when you graduate? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a photographer. I'm like, oh, well, like where are you gonna work? I'm like, oh, like I'll be a photographer. And people were, I don't know why, I just always knew. I'm like, no, I'll do it. Why wouldn't I? I'm like, it's possible. It's totally possible. And I remember thinking in my head, I never thought that was a silly thing to think that I couldn't, you know, where people were like, oh, I go to art school, but like I guess I'll probably work here, but like I still love painting, so that's what I went to school for. I just always knew, I'm like, I think it's just very possible to be a photographer. Like, you can do it, why not? So, and then now that I do, everybody's like, it's so cool that you went to school for what you do. I'm like, well, yeah, I think anybody can do it.
Like,
it's just
that's
like,
so rare or something, or like that just doesn't happen.
yeah, and I'm like, it's very, I guess being like freelance, but that's like anything, it's I guess maybe hard to make a living or hard to, I don't know, get clients. But I was like, I don't know. Maybe for me, I never saw it in that way. I don't know. I do think my internship helped me a lot.
Probably.
Yeah, but I shot, like, the first thing I shot and actually made money from was when I was 18. And I shot my friend's cousin's wedding. And she paid me $200.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But I remember, yeah, and I was like, but then from that, also, maybe because I'm a pretty social person, it just, like, people kept being like, oh, I saw these photos, can you do this, can you do this? And I would just be like, yeah, I can do it. Even if I didn't think I could, I'd be like, yeah, I can totally do that. Like, I'll be there.
Starting out $200, like,
yeah.
Do you now feel like you charge the right amount? Like, because there's a lot of, like, designers, photographers who sort of, they really need that money, and like it sort of undervalues what we do as a craft, and like, do you feel like right now you're doing like a pretty level, charging what you're worth?
Yes. Yeah. Finally this year, like, this is like the 2013 has been like the year I've actually gotten, and like the year that I've actually been able to say like no to things, or I've been able to say, you know, I've had it, you know, I still have all the time, it's always, you know, people trying to like bargain with you or whatever, and like, you know, I'm totally cool with that. If they can give me something and we can do something together, then totally I'm fine with that. But yeah, I think now is the time that I've finally just been like, I get the amount that I deserve or like think it's worth. And like in a lot of situations, sometimes I'll have clients like email me and be like, hi, blah blah blah, we have this amount of money for you, and like, can you do this shoot? And I'll be like, I would charge way less than that, but yes, that's totally cool. Like, so, but then that's why I feel like it sort of balances out, because then there's some people that are like, I really want this and I really want it by you, but like, I only have this amount of money, like, is that okay? And I'm like, yeah. Like, so I feel like
those exceptions, like those projects that you would never dream coming down your pipeline, and you just have to do it.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think this is the first time that now I do feel like, I'm getting paid what I deserve. Yeah. I still have like a handful of people like here and there that will still sort of ask for things for free, and I'm like, no. In, I guess, September 2009 to May 2010. Yeah, so I went there for a year. So OKADA is a program, it's like the Florence program. So you apply for it, and any student, like from any, it's mostly for, I think it is, catered towards drawing and painting, because that's sort of what you you see there.
Classically trained.
Yes,
exactly. Florence.
Exactly. So yeah, you apply, and I originally wasn't going to go, and then they kind of they wanted more students to apply. One of my good friends was going, she's like, just apply, and I was like, yeah, okay. So I applied, and then I got accepted, and it was like the best year of my life. It was perfect. It was amazing there. So yeah, I got to I traveled quite a bit when I was there too, and yeah, it was just so different, such a different learning experience. It's very like independent.
Was that your first time going to Europe, or did you?
No, I've been to, my family's, like, I've traveled to Europe a few times. My family traveled a lot when we were younger, but first time ever going to Italy, first time living alone. And it was, and like living in a different country, you don't speak their language. And I never really learned it, actually. But anyways, yeah, it was quite the experience, but I loved it.
How did that influence your photo taking, like your art? Did it change it, improve it?
Yeah, it did. I think I learned a lot about myself and like being alone with myself, and I think I was always like pretty independent, but that made me very independent. Yeah, it just definitely changed. I think my art, well, especially then I was doing more like art photography, it became a lot more personal and a lot more about me. Actually, I pretty much only, my final project in Florence were all self-portraits of me, and I just learned a lot more about different artists, and sort of like and like really paying attention to like what life is like there, and then compared to back home. And I separated myself from a lot, like from the life I was living here, and that was the thing. I liked it because I sort of was getting over like the people I was hanging out with, things that I was doing there and stuff, and then back home, and then moved there, and sort of I just did like not a 180, but like I changed a lot of things. I kind of just like allowed myself to grow up and move past things and meet new people, and I think that really reflected in my art. And I think that's when my images became they weren't just like pretty, and people weren't just attracted to them because like, oh, it's somebody's pretty at this pretty photo of the sea or whatever. It became a lot more just a lot more personal, and I just started, I liked it more. Like I even took it more seriously. It was finally when I was like, oh no, that's good. So I think it just made me grow up, and then made my photography grow up too, if that's the way you put it.
That's excellent. That's what a year like that should be about.
Yes, yeah. No, it was definitely the turning point, because it just felt like first year was great, but you don't really do photography. And then second year I was kind of just like trying to understand, especially because it's like I liked taking photos, but I didn't really understand what like conceptual really meant until I was getting the hang of it by the end of second year, but it wasn't until third year, and especially just being like surrounded by really talented people and different artists that I realized like really what conceptual photography was and what it meant and how to tell a story through your images.
So you primarily do like lifestyle photography, so
yes.
Wedding engagement photos.
Yes.
And so I find that the more beautiful and effective of like wedding photos have that element of like fine art in them.
Yes.
They're very easy to spot because they stand out, because there's just so much emotion in them, and so you obviously use. Yeah,
I think having that background, like an art background rather than the commercial-based background, makes it a lot easier, because it just, the way I view a wedding is, it's like a story. It's sort of like the last chapter of a story, and like it's leading into like the new book. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, because they've dated and everything, now they're getting married, and it's like kind of like the big finale. So it's like that chapter that you're like the most excited about, and I feel like that's the way I view it, like the beginning of the day and like what it leads up to, climax, you know. And then so that's sort of just the way I shoot it, as a story. And instead of, I obviously have to do posed images and stuff, but I sort of just I guess I wait for things to happen, and there's always like those little things. And I think, I don't know, I put myself in other people's positions too, and I'm like, what I think is important and what I think I want photographed, so I sort of always try to find those little moments and just really like pay attention to, like finer details, and that's usually what I ended up finding that the bride or groom, or just people in general, prefer. And it's like that in the moment sort of, I don't know, like candid Kodak moment, but it's like, it's just much more meaningful. And that's the thing too, I guess I didn't even realize that when I'd been, especially over the last like year, when people would write me and be like, I really like your wedding photography because it's different.
That's exactly how I approach food photography. Actually, it's like if you could call a photo of oysters candid. That's how I approach it. And you as well. You do food photography as well.
I do, yes, quite a bit of it, and like only well, I guess more so, I guess in the last year I've been doing it a lot, but yeah, now I've been viewing it sort of in the same way, and I really love it. I really do, because it's weird, because it's sort of the in-between of, like you said, like candid, and then like still life. Because I feel like food, and that's the fun thing is being on food shoots too, like, because even something that's like just cooked and made, if you shoot it right then and then you wait 5 minutes, it changes, right? So it's not still life, it's like a living thing, sort of. So that's why it's fun to shoot it, because it's not where you're doing it's not a product shot. It's sort of that in between, which is really fun, because you can manipulate it, but it's also going to do its own thing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
I do. I love doing food photography, and it's just been something I've been wanting to get into more and more. It was never really something I thought that I'd be interested in.
Me either. And it's my most favorite thing to shoot.
Yeah, mine too. I just asked my photo editor the other week, I was like, just an FYI, like, if you ever want like more food, because I had been shooting a lot of food for him, but it was more on like sort of like a white backdrop, like typical lights. They were running fairly small, which is totally fine. I still loved it, but then I was like, if there's a certain section in the magazine that I really have been wanting to shoot for a while, and I've mentioned it to him a few times. Then finally I just sent him an email. I'm like, if the original photographer that always says it, if she doesn't want to do it, like, call me because I'd love to do it. Then he called me and he's like, she doesn't want to do it actually this month, and like, I know you'd be perfect for it, so I got to do it. Those are my last 2 Instagrams that I went to, and it was fun because it wasn't on a white backdrop. It was like, he literally was like, do what you want, like, use the space, use it, and like sort of photograph the food and the restaurant as well, but like any way you want. So it was like kind of left it up to me. Awesome. And it was really fun. And then you get to eat the food after. So yeah. Yeah. So how did you get into shooting food other than doing your blog?
Well, Emma asked me to come along to a Summerlicious dinner with her.
Yes.
So that was it. We went to, I don't even remember what it was called, but it doesn't matter because the restaurant's not there anymore. So but the food was really good. Yeah. The restaurant's not there anymore, but the food was really good. And that was a lot of firsts for me because that was like a fancy restaurant to me. Yeah. I didn't know what to wear. I showed up first. I didn't know what to say. And like felt so out of my element, and then I was shooting food and I've never done that before. Like, yeah. I do a lot of architectural photography and like people on the street maybe not knowing that I'm taking their photo, and like a lot of
a little more documentaries.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just a loner, so I and then after doing the Summerlicious stuff, we started doing events and food. So it moved kind of more into, I don't know, this weird realm that I'm still kind of like trying to get used to and comfortable in. Yeah. No, I know it's kind of like a funny thing because I remember when I had first shot food, I was more assisting other photographers on it and thought it would be boring, and I guess just because I saw it as that, to me it didn't seem like a challenge, but it's definitely a challenge. It is to get like a really great shot of food, or not even, it's not necessarily, it is a challenge, but just it's interesting all the different ways you can actually capture it, you know? So, but I love it. I think the most challenging thing is if you're shooting in a restaurant with a very active chef, like who's like right at your table while you're shooting the photos, and they're like fussing with the plate. It's really hard to be like, it's great this way. Yes. I don't want it to look like the way you want it because you saw some other person's like white studio fussed with thing. So
it's funny because I remember we once did this shoot for Toronto Life too, and it was the same thing. It was all like on a white background, but so we said to the chefs, either we'll come pick up the dish and bring it there, or you can come. It was 50-50. Half the chefs were like, fine, cool, I'll take it, do what you want. Other half were like, no, I need to come. I need to come. We're like, well, we have a food stylist, and half of them were like, we don't like food stylists. And like, we like it the way we like it. So like they came, and we're shooting all like top down, and there was like a couple dishes that were more like a little bit like of a tower, like, and they kept being like, no, we can't do it like that, you can't do it like that, you know, trying to, but they're like, finally, like, we can't do it the way you want it because the way we're shooting it is top down, like it was on a table. But yeah, and that's the thing, it is funny because to them it's still a form of art as well, and they want it to be portrayed and viewed in a certain way, and when that's not happening, it's not okay. Like I remember too, we were doing a pizza shoot, and I can't remember what, some place that sells pizza, obviously, but they're very particular. They're like, it comes out of the oven, it takes like, we put it in the oven for like 90 seconds, we pull it out and it's served at your table. They're like, you have to photograph it here, you have to, and they like just fought it for so long. But I kind of love that they fought for it because they were like, they were so passionate about like what it looks like, and she kept being like, you know what, we can't do it. Finally, they brought all the ingredients to the studio, cooked it at the studio, and like helped make it look as best as it can, and then we were able to shoot it.
No, it's always a very good sign.
It is.
People do care and do see it as an art, because if they don't care, then why do you care?
Yeah, exactly.